All right, we're back for part two of the development, and I did do just a fraction before I started recording, and I have good news. Good news to report is if we join a space, the close button works now. I don't know why that was so much of a hassle, but I also am now using the IDE, so I can sort of get a bit more of a picture of what's being changed. And I think one of the first things I want to address now is just this horizontal happening now section. I think I'm going to bin that and just sort of go with vertical. So update the horizon. Actually, can we use voice here? Can we update the happening now section, and instead of having a horizontally scrolling section, make that vertically scrolling, responsive to the width of the window? Interesting. For some reason, that is like a voice recording rather than like a voice to text, but the same thing. it should ultimately net be the same. So this is, still using Gemini 3.5, I guess, in properties, preferences, ID settings. Somewhere in here is models and refreshes in 4 hours. So I think we're good, and then I can enable that. So yeah, I haven't hit my limit yet, which is cool. I do have Google One subscription is kind of how I get Gemini Pro. So that's just part of, if you've got Google Photos and stuff, that's part of that, which is cool. All right, so this thing is updating, and at some point, we're going to see this switch over to, there's another live spaces, and I also have another thought for this as well. Speakers, co-hosts, that kind of thing. And when you join, this dialogue should do a better job of surfacing those people as well. Implementation plan, cool. I guess with the ID, you've got to retell it that it's got permission to go ahead and do things. That's cool. Artifacts view there. So yeah, I don't want to have to individually accept. I guess this is the difference between agent mode and the IDE. Very good. Yep. So always allow. Cool. I'm just telling it to go do its thing. Allow reading this URL. Yes, go ahead. All right, cool. And what do I want now? Let's start. Cool. It's just finding the active process, I think, is what we're doing there. All right, so it sort of has done exactly what I wanted it to, which is remove those from horizontally scrolling to now vertical scrolling. Now we'll get to, I hate that 2 scroll bars. I'm actually now confused about why we have a happening now section in all live spaces. Okay, lives, yeah, that's why. Tailor to your interests. Let's do this with voice as well. Cool. Can we make sure that we never end up with the happening now section having a vertical scroll, please? It should just push the all live spaces below it down further. I'm starting to really enjoy using voice to command this. I think it's just a much faster, more fluid way when you're prototyping. Maybe there's times where you need to be more precise, but for now, I think this is good. We need to fix that at some stage. And then I also don't like this star and remind. It's taking up too much real estate and squashing this. So to fix that too. And one of the other configurations is not guest. We want to basically log out. So when we sign in here, I need to actually fix that and let you sign in properly. Okay, that fixed that. That's cool. So no more crazy double vertical scroll. pulsing stage. That's kind of a weird terminology. I'll fix that later. Subscribe to Creator Live. Switch here. We like that. All right, let's say when we're previewing a space, let's also include information about the host of the space, the co-hosts of the space, any speakers at the time, and then I also want to account for the number of listeners. So make that as visual as you can. So use their profile photo if you get a chance. Cool, we'll see what it comes up with for that. I am starting to like these background images. They're starting to be a bit more, it is a little noisy, that's the only thing. Maybe you can put some kind of filter over the top, but we'll just ask the text to be readable. Some of them more than others, but yeah, you're getting a sense of like, these are different spaces about different things. So of course the titles are there, but yeah, I don't know, maybe the full image is too much. Maybe we have like a category kind of graphic or something, or maybe we have like a solid background for the space title at the top, or yeah, that kind of thing. Don't know. We'll prototype and keep iterating, but I think I'm getting close to the point where I want to start hearing this thing make some audio, so like joining the spaces, which means actually authenticating this host space. So we got the custom thing happening here. I don't really think we need the custom category. I think we're straight into adding a custom title or the suggested title, and then going from there. So I think that's getting close. We also have the light mode, which looks like this, which I don't love as much as the dark mode. Yep. Cool. I've created the implementation plans for specifying how it visual to preview this. Please review your plan. Approve. Don't get. I don't know if there's a way to skip that from doing implementation plan first. And I'll also notice this model is on medium, so a few tokens. Oh yeah, this search I like. I like. Refine it a little bit. That should be blank every time. I also think I want to have that use more of the available space. Like there's no reason that doesn't like fill the screen. I'm also wondering if rather than using a side panel, is there any other UI that I should use for that spaces? If I look at the actual XSpaces, what they do. So say we go into here, we're going to start listening.
We're never gonna listen to my 15 minutes audio.
Okay, cool. Don't need to actually hear this instance. So if we go in here, we got this little pop over. It doesn't take the whole side panel. And then we got reactions, listen, extra sections like that. So I don't know whether I like this full panel over on the side or whether yeah, the idea is that you can still scroll and interact and use X while you're doing that, versus this being dedicated to spaces and we're just going to look for other spaces opportunities. Excuse me. Don't know, more to go on that, I think. But yeah, I want to see this join spaces thing be a bit more built out in terms of preview. So this is just crack along. A JS file is, holy crap, 2,800 rows now. Wild. I don't know how to describe that effect. So on the categories page, there is an effect where the highlight follows the user's mouse cursor and it tilts the actual tile. I don't know how to describe that effect, but I want to apply that effect to all other tiles throughout the app. So in live spaces, upcoming spaces, all of that, calendar items. Let's repeat that kind of style because I really like it. I assume that there's effectively it's just assigned a color to each category. So gaming red, and tech purple, web design green. Whether we can reflect that in here, don't know. We'll find out. All right, now we've started to get a bit more of a picture. Oh, I like that. Total listeners, speakers, match the score. So it's like how well that aligns to you, I guess. On the stage, host, co-host, speakers, and then you're into listeners. I think that's really good. I actually quite like that. And then sort of the title piece there. And that still links to the user. We don't get that on the co-hosts. Maybe we should have that linked up. Don't know. Bigger fish to fry. All right, confirm, and then you're into join, and that closes still well. All right, I'm pretty happy with that preview space, except for we can use more of the interface. No, that'll do for now. Let's work on authentication. What is that doing? Never seen it do that before. Wait, user, please let me know if you approve. Thank you. Let me know if you approve. Well, I will now end my turn. Let's do that. Confirms. Let's wait. No more tools. Called done. Wow. Just completely freaked out. And what is this? Slash grill me? Please let me know if you know. Okay, stop. Was that listening to me the whole time? I don't know. Approve the implementation plan and see how we go. And then I'm going to queue up the next bit, which is need to authenticate user by allowing to submit to X with their X account and start to pull real spaces data in other placeholders. All right, so this will ultimately look pretty different, and I wonder if we start to pull in real spaces that actually don't have, there's no background information, like what it's going to use for the image graphics. Like here, I guess what did it do? Where did it get that image from? Card overlay. Unsplash, okay. So it's found an online URL. I guess it did what I asked it to do, which is find the topic. So web APIs, let's use a laptop image. Indie hacking, so it's like a co-working space kind of thing. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see if we can get this to actually wire up and start being a real space instead of prototype stuff. But pretty happy with where it's coming, how far it's come along in just a short period of time. Let's also throw at this on the upcoming spaces tab. The tiles are a little clumsy. Their text is condensed, and we've got the star icon and the remind button. Let's rethink on that and give it more space, and maybe just rearrange the icons in their location to make that better. Cool. All right, let's refresh. Refresh. Let's go. I do like this kind of alert toast stuff. Maybe we give people the option of where they want toast, which part of the interface you'd like your toast notifications to come from. Could sort of push everything down from the top. It could pop down the bottom. Flying from the lower left is lower right is sort of, I guess, how my Windows notifications are. Should we use the native OS? I don't even know if that's possible. If you're on a website, can you pull native OS stuff? Or does it have to be what is that called? A hybrid app where it's like part on the machine. Don't know. Problem for another day. I think the biggest improvement we can make now is make this live and connected into X for sure. So it's saying I've updated the implementation plan to incorporate it. Please review the implementation. Execute the plan. Execute the plan. I think the agent mode is probably where I need to go. I'm kind of getting a little bit over having to tell it to continue and to proceed. I just want it to do its thing once it has the info from me. Twitter. Never get away from Twitter completely, I think. What do I want to see on the homepage? I mean, Live Spaces is the homepage. What do I want? Let's try and pass the credentials to twitter.com. Maybe the backend still is that. Maybe, just maybe it'll log out, log back in. Interesting. So that's definitely different. X client ID. I don't know. HomeOffice. API simulator.js. Looks like it's writing all the logic to pull in stuff using the XAPI. Spaces, very good. And you'll notice that's blank, which is, I think, a promising sign. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah. It's not exactly following the full thing, but just that corner of that gradient. I love that. That looks sexy. Very good. We're starting to get that as a bit of a feeling of how we do. Yeah, I like that. Like a trademark is what I was thinking. Sort of like this is kind of the signature. That corner. I like it. Okay. So it's still working its way. So connecting to your X profile is definitely trying to connect. It should pop the auth. Let me sign in. HomeOffice acts as your personal dashboard to search, join, and schedule XSpaces using. Sign in using auth2 to access X. Right. I don't think the user really needs to worry about that. It just should be a normal sign in. I have to get a jacket soon. It's getting cold. But this I like. This I like a lot. Just so much more logical to have a favorite and a remind there. Scheduled. I don't think I want to see that flashing. Flashing is sort of like live. Anyway. JS is good. Updated again. We up to now. Past 3,000 now. I guess it would be cool to have like just to toggle simulated stuff and then back to real stuff. The settings tabs changed a little bit. Whoa, that's super bright. Yep, that's pretty cool. Doing its thing. All right, let's feed it with some more instructions. So I want to have the ability to toggle between simulated data and real data coming from X. Maybe add a toggle in the settings menu for that. That's interesting. That all just came back. Why? Why did it all just come back? Oh, holy crap. Oh, yeah, that's the goodness. Love it. It finished. Okay, cool. So the reason it wasn't showing before wasn't what I thought. I thought it wasn't showing because it was busy building the authentication piece, and without authentication, it obviously couldn't retrieve any spaces, but it actually was just doing this magic that I asked it before, just to make those tiles do that, which is pretty special. Now, I actually almost want to implement that on TKU. That is very cool. Yes, that's so good. All right, cool. Love that. Excellent. Upcoming spaces. Whoa. That's a little... That's crazy. It gets way out of control in a long UI like that. That is cool. I think it's cool anyway. Maybe that's a little too much. That's pretty funny. I like that. Okay, cool. It's the little things. All right, so let's go just test this and go, add that, remind me of that. I think that all should add to the calendar. Yeah, cool. And the calendar kind of does the same thing. I love the background on those. Like the images are really sort of complementary and divided. I don't know what's going on for that, but probably need to be able to nuke those from the calendar too. Anyway, that's probably for another day. I like where this is going. I just need to have it work. So there's the simulated versus reality, real API data, save, and then it's trying to connect to your X profile, but it doesn't actually force the user. Okay. Is the X client ID necessary? Signing should be seamless. Should be a seamless and easy experience for users. Alrighty. So yeah, I want to ditch this. There's no reason to have the user be faced with the client ID dialog. Just get to here. The only thing you should be able to do is sign with X. It should then take you in here and retrieve the spaces for you. Maybe there should be an option in the categories page to add and remove categories. On the categories page, can we please add the ability to add and remove different categories? And I also want to be able to click on those categories and then have XSpaces surfaced, both happening now and upcoming on the subsequent screen. And there should be an ability to go back as well, like return to the categories page. I think that makes sense. All right, so where you guys can see all this? Should have. Thought you were seeing this bit too. All right. That might start to get a bit hard to read. Bring that over like that. So what I've been doing down here is just basically recording audio and then hitting go, and it's been feeding feeding it into here basically. So let's bring this back down as a preview. And I'll use the here a bit for now. Could even bring that over the top. Something like that. Cool. So we're going to do that. What's that asking for now? Changes to index. What did we change? So the categories as I asked it to, which just makes sense. Alright, I keep getting sidetracked. I think the thing I really want to focus on is this needs a whole refresh. I think the side panel, I'm not 100% sold on that. But I think we've got to solve the sign in bit first, the user auth. Yeah. What I might do is say, let's solve the user auth and let's retrieve real spaces content from the from X. Please open and run the site and resolve any auth issues. Provide my login required. So like auth, like I'm happy for me to auth, but it needs to do the thing. Basically, it needs to do the things. Hey, look at that! Oh, sick! Categories got finished. Oh, that's awesome. And so we go to categories, and you go into one, and you've got back should be that scripts back. Back needs to move over here, but anyway, you've got live now, which is exactly what I wanted, and then scheduled, so you can go to your calendar. That's good. I'm not sure whether the calendar is being preserved between sessions. If I like refresh, does that get nuked? Yeah, it does. Fix that at some other stage, but yeah. So categories, you can have web design. You got filtered view, crypto, cool startups. Love it. Categories are working great now. All right. What's not is auth. So we need to get this auth thing happening. What I actually wanted it to do is run and review itself. You haven't authorized successfully. Stop lying to me. server is up and running. 4,000, yeah, we've got that. Cool. Navigating to sign to the next settings. X client key period token. Interesting. All right, I might do that. So let's go developer.twitter.com, console.x.com. Go to the dev console. I'm going to get these, the API key and token, and so the reason that I've hidden that is, I don't want to share that with everybody, so apps and paper, yes. Usage agent toolbox. I'm just going to try and use, there is a development app, maybe, let's do that. So let's go HomeOffice. I was going to use some of the other keys that I had, but this makes the most sense. Okay. Key. Token. Good. It's masked. It's like hidden. It's good. Okay. Just as it all successfully run. That's not true. Saved in local storage. Interesting. Okay, I can share with you now again. So I basically went to the XDev console and got a API key and token, hit save, and now it's saved in local storage. But that said, we're still not seeing live stuff. So let's ask it to do so. I have been to the settings page and inserted an API key and token, hit save. It says it's saved in local storage. I attempt to sign out and then sign in, and I still see the same result. It says sign in with X account, it says connecting to X auth, authorized successfully, but then it doesn't take me into the web app. And so I skip, and then it's still not pulling live spaces from X. So please resolve that. Don't know. We'll see what happens. So rather than sort of mess around with more stuff, I kind of get distracted sometimes. I think what I'll do is really just push on this until we can resolve, because this will be the difference between whether it works or not, right? So if we can't even pull in spaces successfully, then it's nice to have a pretty UI, but we've got to have it work. We've got to be able to listen to spaces through this thing. And one of my own personal uses is I listen to sort of a lot of, say Tesla spaces, a bit of crypto finance, business, AI. There's a bunch of different, spaces that I listen to fairly commonly. And so I think there'll be a fair bit of iteration on the UI, the side menu, different ways to slice and dice how you sort of surface that. But the objective being to both know about spaces that you want to know about, the ones that regularly come on the calendar each week, and then also to have a healthy dose of discovering of new things that you otherwise would not have been able to find, because the Spaces UI is not amazing, let's say. And so, I'm keen to try and help solve that by building different slices in the data categories, a little bit of that. So if you're like thinking about, hey, I might go join a space, but I really feel like talking about AI or listening to people talk about AI, jump into that AI category. Whereas others might be like, hey, we might have top 10 categories in your country or something, and so it's like sport is hot right now, or maybe it's election and politics, I don't know, a bunch of different things that would invite you into spaces that you otherwise would not find out about. I don't think I'm too unique in that I tend to listen to a lot of stuff out of the US, and I've made friends internationally in terms of being in spaces and participating, and so you're not sort of restricted to just your own country, even though time zones can be a little challenging and things like that. I think that it's one of the best, coolest things about spaces is you get to connect with people on the other side of the planet. And other than sometimes like a marginal little bit of delay, it's as if you're in the same room. It's really cool. So, I really just want to keep pushing on this auth. So what are we doing over here? You can expect full documentation and walk through verification says. To me, that's telling me it's kind of like thinks that it's done. The bug's resolved. Sign out and sign in. Still says that. Successfully, and doesn't continue. All right. The normal user flow, right? When you hit in your website, it's going to say, "Hey, welcome," blah blah blah. Sign in. That's got to then take you through to this page and show that. I don't know what the logged out view looks like. Maybe it's just an overview. We can work on that. Yeah. Let's build a logged out view, the page that somebody would hit when they first go to the website, that explains what the service is all about. Make it nice and modern and inviting, and then have a key, a big sort of feature focus area to sign in now and get started, like discover spaces, all that kind of good stuff. So what I'm talking about there is this page shouldn't be that. That's a terrible user experience. Just to hit with that, I think you want to start them with an overview about what HomeOffice is about, and then give them a big, button to sign in, which will pull up the auth. So it's still solving my last problem. Cool. I'll search for toast container, onboarding references, Subject. I do like those toast notifications, they're very cool. Alrighty. So this should be your profile too. Like when you sign in, this would be your username. I'm wondering. I'm wondering about this side panel. As I said, I'm not completely sold. When you think about Spotify and others, they do like a little play button at the bottom, like maybe that's where we want to go with it. But you do need kind of controls as well. So when you're in here, you've got a lot going on. You've got this, but you also want to keep discovering new spaces, I guess, it kind of works. It does maybe kind of work on the side. We might just, this live stream thing, that could probably go, because it's live, you're listening to it. Heading is important, pin to the nest is important, speakers. I think the UI around the speakers could do with a bit of work. We definitely want to bring in their profile photos as a minimum, but who's speaking? So you sort of see the little animation there of audio coming through. I don't hate it. I think it's just sort of enhancing it. I think it's, for the most part, it's pretty okay. Alright, so we're still being on this. I will create a comprehensive implementation plan describing the industrial. Cool, proceed. I just wanted to do it. So yeah, definitely seeing the IDE asking more than I'd like, whereas the agent mode is just gets it done. So they did improve that significantly in version 2. It used to be very naggy. You had to do 2 things and then just like this prompt you again and need approval. The whole goal of agents is to just get it done. So this is interesting. We've got a new next button. Cool. So seen some changes there, but still not the overview welcome page that I was expecting. What are we doing now? Styles. So that's interesting. Refreshing that is giving me a couple of different results. Also a sort of mid-change here, so that's what it's up to. We don't have JS. What's changing there? Show onboarding step. Cool. Hey, look at that! That is sensational. I mean, this is sitting at the top, which needs some more spacing and padding, but Explorer's Guest, Public Spaces, this is what it's going to do for you. Love that. Love that a lot. How do we get back there rather than sign out? I guess we do sign out. How can you now go and watch the audio diagnostics, develop a stream API? I don't know about that bit, but sign in with the XSpaces. That should take you to the sign in. And it doesn't sign in with X. But you can kind of see where I'm going directionally with it. It's looking a bit more like a real website. All right, so add some padding at the top. So this just annoys me. Just a formatting thing, basically. If we bring this up to be big now. So if I... What the hell? Maybe you guys have been seeing that. That's interesting. Huh. I've not been seeing what I've been showing you. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were seeing this. All right. So basically what I've had to do, and now it's moved these down to be great, and built out the footer. That is very cool. We can obviously update all this, but in terms of the structure, the site now looks like this. I don't love that, and you know, XSpaces should be on the same line, but anyway. Yeah, so we've got the homepage here now, and it's got a bunch of cool stuff on it. It's got a footer that looks like a real proper website, and then the big question is, and just like I thought, it still doesn't let you log in properly. I don't know why that is. Sign in validation. So I'm just going to provide that back to it and say, sign well, doesn't work. Please resolve. Now this is over here. So yeah, we just need this to work. So Explorer's Guest, that's all working really amazingly. Super very happy with all of that. Excellent. Loving that highlight still. We've got the simulated versus real data. Maybe that's part of it. Interesting. Go behind that, yeah. Yep. probably the least important part of all this. You know what it looks like. So, yeah. So basically, we'll keep iterating. What have we put another 45? So maybe another few minutes. I might just grab a jacket quickly. I'll be back. Hello, darling. Hey. Okay. Hi. Yeah, up. You can help me build. Alrighty. So we have another refresh, another sign in. Yay! Progress. Oh, look at that! That's cool. That's development. Interest scanner. Scan likes. If that's actually pulling from my stuff, this is super cool. That's got to be simulated for sure. There's no chance. That was a cool onboarding. I like that. We've got Jason. Okay, simulated down here. Got pretty excited. That is a very cool onboarding. I like that. Now let's just make that work, shall we? That was very cool. Sign in, connecting, authorized, and then it goes. Yeah, cool. So instead of that, let's do that. We got a different 3. That's probably still simulated. Welcome to the home office. TKU simulated. I like it, but let's stop simulating. Let's do the real thing. Hey, puppy, you're on my hand. I can't do things. All right. Okay, I love the onboarding flow. That's great. The only thing to do now is to make it really use my X account. So I need to be able to sign in with my X account, have me auth, and then use my real data. But yeah, it's coming along. That's very cool. Quite like that. If there are things that you can think of that you would like out of this, like I plan on shipping this at some stage, and I'm also trying to work through like TechAU/apps. There's a bit of a home portal for things I develop and I build. And yeah, I think if if something was to gain enough popularity, I probably would build its own domain. But for now, that'll be the vector for where I place this stuff. But if you would like to sort of help me build this and have ideas and suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, as my daughter says. She ribs me all the time because she watches a bit of YouTube from time to time and knows that I do a little bit of YouTube and other social media and that kind of thing. So she's a funny one and ribs me over that. So that is her. She puts on this voice of like a TechAU voice when she does it. So that's where that came from. But yeah, I love this sort of process. It's funny that it makes up an ID that's not at all real. But that's the concept is really great. In that you've already got a ton of data on X, right? So leverage that to pre-populate your interest in here and then pre-filter the spaces. Because if we just went to filter spaces like that, this is kind of how the clumsy way that I normally get to this stuff. So outside of the spaces that are live and that contacts or friends or whatever are, or subscribers are in, which you get like none, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there's hundreds of spaces that are happening right now, thousands, right? So you scroll through here. Some of these are already done, so they're like play recording. Like that's just top, which doesn't. I mean, top is probably measured on it. They'll have an algorithm to do it, but let's call it the most number of views or listens, right? I think on the side menu here, we're ordered by the number of people. So we've got 1.4K in Burnt Peanuts space. That's a VS space being read. And then it's sort of down from there. So that's one way of doing it. And then you get to top and it's just a bit of a mess as to how that's organised. And then the latest is exactly this problem. So the latest space, you'll come here and you'll get a live session 2. There's basically 0 listeners in here. 1 in this space, 7 in this space. It's so clumsy, right? And just all purple backgrounds, so you don't know from a bar of soap. You've got different languages in here. You can see why I kind of like, I want to fix this problem because I've talked about it. I think spaces are amazing, but this is not it. This can't be as good as the spaces UI gets to be. So I really want to kind of do better than that. I think already we're heading in a really nice direction here. It'll take some more iteration. But this is kind of what I think would be amazing for X to offer natively, and if it's not going to, well, then I'll have to build my own. So, yep. All right, so over here it says we've got collapsible panels, so connect real. This is interesting, so we're going to refresh this. Go to here. Collapsible panel says, give me a developer client ID. So we are just going to do this for a second. And I'm going to go get that from my dev console. Developer client ID. Interesting. Go to apps. I wonder if we. Evolve to client ID into X developer client ID. Progress. So what we have here is to use this app, you have to be logged into X. Well, what do you know? This is starting to look like a thing. Excuse me, mushy. Drop you down, puppy. Come on. Alright, you guys might see this bit. I'm morphing into X right now. And I'm pretty sure the redirect will be wrong, so authenticator app. Cool. You've all got MFA in your accounts. X. I think I called it Twitter. Somebody else said the numbers changed the second you get it up again. It's always a coincidence. It's like right at the end of its expiry. Alright, so that's not it. Maybe that MFA was literally was. Cool. Should not be this hard. I wonder if it's being weird.
The problem is when you go to your MFA app and you search for X, anything with X in the name shows up. So actually, then the bottom dedicated X one. So the other one was the Twitter one. It's a bit happier. To use this app, you have to be logged into X. Weird. I thought I just signed into X. Right. Try that cycle again. Not in a find your X account, confirm your X account. Should send you the code. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but we're going to give it a try. I don't want to set a new password, thank you very much. Somehow I selected forgot password. That was not my intention. Okay, we're back to sign in, auth code. If this works, it'll be worth it. If it doesn't, we also learn something. Okay, we just got to a loop where it's like you're going to be logged in to use this thing. So we didn't succeed there. Bugger. That's okay. This is not going to be logged in, but it's doing the same thing again. So if I do that, let's just go to here. Simulated data real save config. Sign out, sign in, connects. Yeah. I actually don't know what I did before to... Oh, hang on, yes I do. Yes I do, yes I do. That was fold that out, wasn't it? And then just put in my username there. XR client ID. And then I think having that in there, and then I tried to auth from that. But yeah, whether I can auth from localhost, I'm not sure. Whether this actually has to be hosted to be available. Interesting. So ensure localhost is registered as an approved redirect in your X developer portal under user authentication. So that's the piece we're going to do. That's how we got in the loop before. So then we go full screen again. And then in the dev portal, I'm going into here. Keys, tokens, user authentication. I think I can show you this bit. So we're just in the dev console for X, and we're going to do callback URL, I think is what it wants to have in there. See how that goes. It's going to need to be a... I wonder if it needs read-write access. Let's just go with read access for the minute. And then type of app is not a native app, it's a web app. So localhost is there, the website URL, I guess it's the same thing. Organization name could be me. Session URL can be you. TOS that slash TOS slash privacy. Save changes. Not a valid URL format. It's because it's not HTTPS. What I'm going to do is ask Gemini, check my settings in the dev console for the app. So I basically just took a screen snip of the settings I had configured against the app in the dev console and asked Gemini to validate. And it'll see too that I got that error of not a valid URL format, even though I supplied what it asked me to. So it says the answer is fix the error by doing the following. Website URL must be a live public address with HTTPS. So clearly running from localhost is not going to do it. So I can copy these files to a temporary server to be able to get that to happen. Maybe that's the answer. All right, I'm just going to try this. Interesting. Interesting. Progress. This is good. So now that I have that key, I can try and sign in. It says I'm going to be logged in. Great. Let me log in. Preparing validation. Can't get to the passcode for some reason. That's okay. I don't necessarily think that's terrible. MFA again. To use this app, you have to be logged in. We're in the loop again. Damn it. Yep. I think, yeah, so it's sending it to twitter.com. I think this could be part of it too. Screenshot it back to Gemini. See that it's attempting to auth@twitter.com. So we need to update this to next. Alright. I'm also simultaneously going to try something else. So still probably won't be able to share this bit, but get there. It really shouldn't take long to do what I'm going to do to try and test it, and then we'll find out if my theory is correct or not. That's not case sensitive. Sorry, this bit's going to be a bit boring. I just got to do some trial and error that I can't really show when I'm doing with keys and that sort of stuff. So bear with me. We are making progress. Something went wrong. You weren't able to give access to the app. Interesting. Different message. Progress. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Client ID. Okay, so now I've got to update that. You redirect. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Maybe I can just do this here rather than do the side block down and up again. Where's that going to be? Think about that. Oh, it's in the dev console, of course. Should be able to have multiple of those, right? Settings, yeah. Callback is going to be add another. Great. That's what I was after. And cool. Just double checking that. All right. So in theory, we've got an update there now that gives us a good chance of success. That's stayed. That's interesting. Authorize. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's so good. That's good. Emmy, puppy. Hey, puppy. Hey, puppy. Hey. It's a little kitty cat. Hey. That's our kitty cat friend. That's our kitty cat friend. Look. Hey. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, the kitty cat's coming to visit. Oh, Emmy. Okay. Hey. It's okay. Shh. It's okay. Come on. Okay, so there's a cat outside. There's a cat outside. The dog's wanting to explore, let's say. All right, so here's what I've been trying to achieve. HomeOffice wants access to my X account so we can use some real data. Things this app can view all the spaces, all the posts. Great. All right. Auth went through, but my redirect was to the top level site and not to the actual site. So I need to resolve that. Yeah, I think I need to author back to that. That makes sense. So the redirect URL needs to be back to the app, not to the... That makes sense. That'll do it. So let's feed that back into the dev app. So URL is that. Callback is that. Now, in theory, we redirect. Something went wrong. Why? This I don't understand. Callback URL. Might do that as well. Let's have 1,000 callback URLs, see how that goes. Website URL. Maybe that just needs to be that. Get rid of that. No, we'll find out. We weren't able to give access to the app. Go back and try logging in again. So I've logged in, I'm logging out. Now back near the ID again. So I guess what I would do is provide instructions for the users to create their own auth to app ID. provide that, sign in with our X account. Oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. So it failed again, but I just had a thought. When it was doing the successful redirect before, it was giving me the next piece, like the token in the URL bar, I think. So in theory, we do that. We do this. Authorize. Redirect happens. And then we get a token or a code. A token or a code, token or a code. So then we sign in. No. Puppy, you're making this very difficult. Get through it. There's a way, well, there's a way, as they say. Simulated data, real data, save, log out. It's just doing the fake stuff again. It's not what I want. I want the real stuff, please. Okay, so you sign in without a bearer token. I want to do bearer token. Ooh, damn it. The simulated data took a second to load, and I was hopeful that was not simulated for a second. So real XAPI data is selected, but the user authored in the bottom still says simulated. All right, we're doing something wrong. I've got to work through that. We've been going for an hour and 10. I think a little bit more thinking and a less experimentation, we will get there. But we've got the bones of what looks like a pretty cool app. So I'm pretty happy with that. So if I do this, let me do... Got double fun. Basically, yeah. So this is what we've got at the moment. So I think we've made progress. We've done well. We've got more to go clearly in terms of what's there, but this is coming up to be a pretty cool little app. If I can just get the auth sorted, which seems to be the hardest bit at the moment, we will. Interesting. I'd forgotten to check back in Gemini with the problem that I submitted, and it says, hey, your redirect URL should be this. Yeah, actually using x.com instead of twitter.com is a good start. It says occasionally we'll redirect you to twitter.com. They must still have some infrastructure running on that domain, but yeah, I think we will keep trying, and there'll be a part 3. Cheers, guys.